This video is going to show you how you can use paragraphs more effectively in the writing section of your GCSE English language exams. The key to doing paragraphs well starts before you start writing, by creating an effective, useful plan that you can use when you write. This doesn't need to take an awful lot of time, maybe a minute or two at most. Jot down or maybe make a mind map of the 2 or 3 points that you want to make in that piece of writing.
Right, Year 11, this is Mr. Bolter here. I'm just hijacking this video for a minute because Mr. Capaldi's not here and I want to show you an example and get it up on YouTube. So, here's a question. Students should not be allowed to bring mobile phones to school. Write an article for a school newspaper in which you argue for or against this view. Now, what Mr. Capaldi's been trying to get you to do or to get across to you is the importance of planning through and thinking about the main points that you want to make before you start to write. So you're making a quick paragraph plan, I reckon, of 3 or 4 main points that you want to make to support your view for or against this idea of students should not be allowed to bring mobile phones to school. Notice that you are allowed to argue for or against. You don't have to definitely argue that it's a good or a bad thing. You can choose which view you want to take. Now let me show you how students can do this badly and how this can go wrong. This student in the exam just started writing straight away without planning their work, and they have written, I think students should be able to bring mobile phones to school because there might be an accident and they have to contact their parents. As well as this, they can be used for learning and students should be allowed to have some fun at school as well. Now it's not a very good piece of writing. There's no real interesting vocabulary, there's no real variety of sentences or anything like that to make it stand out. As well as this though, and the important point here, is that they've just made 3 points in their introduction, one after another, only spending 1 sentence on each point, and they haven't developed their points in any sort of detail. And what will happen to this student is that they will very likely to run out of ideas, run out of things to say. They're not developing their ideas into detail, and they're not going to get the credit for a well-paragraphed, detailed piece of writing. So what might a straightforward plan look like? Well, there's an example in front of you now. This student has divided their answer up into 4 ideas. Firstly, they're going to talk about how students have rights. Maybe not talking about phones at all, but just making the point that students should be treated like everybody else and their rights should be respected. Secondly, they're going to talk about contacting parents. So they've written contacting parents, emergencies, organising life, for example, students with younger brothers or sisters. Thirdly, they're going to write about how phones can be used for learning, e.g. amazing videos like this on YouTube or recording your homework. And fourthly, they're going to recognise the other point of view, recognise the other side of the argument. They're going to say, yes, okay, phones can be distracting, such as the texting and whatever, but school does need fun and school needs opportunities for students to enjoy themselves and to be fun. So the students come up with 4 very clear ideas. However, that plan was quite long, there's quite a lot of writing in it. You don't have a long time in the exam, so what we would advise you to do is to try and get your planning as short and as straightforward as possible. So this is the same plan but written out more quickly. 1, student rights, 2, contacting parents, 3, learning, 4, yes, distracting but fun. And that would be fine to structure your ideas, because now you've got your plan. What you can do is you can think about all of those things. You think about them one at a time. First of all, you develop your paragraph about student rights. Then secondly, you develop your paragraph about contacting parents. It gives you a sort of roadmap for your writing. It allows you to think about the quality of your writing a lot more and end up with a far more successful piece.
Each of these 2 or 3 points will then become the main sections of the piece of writing you do, whether it's a letter or an essay or an article for a newspaper. So as you're writing, when you come to the next new section, make sure you start a new paragraph. The examiner will be looking to see if you can use paragraphs to make your writing more coherent and more structured. If you want to make this a bit more advanced, you can think about using paragraphs for impact. If there's a particular idea within one of your sections you want to give particular attention to or make stand out, you can put it in a short paragraph all of its own. This paragraph could be 1 sentence long, or even a single word to have real impact. So, to recap, to make your paragraphs more effective, plan your work before you start. Have 2, 3, maybe 4 ideas which are really important. When you start writing one of these ideas, make sure you start a new paragraph. And if you want to give your writing more impact, try writing the important message in a paragraph of its own, maybe as one sentence or even as a single word.